When you're going 180 plus miles per hour, your first lap feels fast, and after that, everything starts to go into slow motion. I mean, the track is so big that you almost don't realize how fast you're going until you wreck. Hey Teen Vogue, I'm Toni Breidinger, a 23-year-old race car driver based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm not preparing for one, but 2 races in the same week. From practice to traveling to race day, this is a really intense week in my life. I always blink. I always try not to. Preparing for a race is very physically and mentally demanding. I feel like a lot of people don't really realize how physical the sport is, just because I feel like when you're watching us, you see us from outside the car. You don't see like the hustling that's going on inside the car, and we go through so many G-forces, and even just turning the wheel in these cars, it's not like just turning a regular car. Every day I have to balance exercising, training, and everything else in between. Here's what a day in my life actually looks like.
Good morning, it is Monday, September 12th, and it is 6 a.m. Oh, you can see my bunny right there. That's Fetty.
On Monday, I made sure I went to the Toyota Performance Center to get my heat room workout in to make sure I'm physically ready to go for my races. I go in the heat room once a week, usually in the afternoons. The heat room is really important for us because the cars get so hot. It's important for us to get acclimated with the heat, especially with our heart rate up plus the heat. So when I'm in the heat room, I have to make sure my heart rate is at a certain point to make sure I'm getting all the benefits. My first time in the heat room, I remember I did not know what to expect. And I didn't think it was gonna be that bad because, you know, I like the heat, I like to be warm, but no, I was not vibing with it. I remember just like watching how high my heart rate was, and I thought I had to do the full hour, but they pulled me out like middle of the way through. They're like, oh, don't worry, like you're good. Like we just want you to get a feel for it. And I was like, thank God. I also spoke to my nutritionist. We usually meet at the top of the week and we'll go over how I felt in the past weekend's race and then also come up with a plan for the coming races that I have.
How did this past weekend go?
I would say the biggest struggle for me was the heat and like hydrating. So I think definitely like leading up to Bristol, I definitely want to focus on that. And then also getting enough carbs before I go and race the day before is really important for me. I usually get a post-workout smoothie.
Solid.
Really good. What I eat during the week is a little bit different compared to what I eat the day before a race and on race day. When I'm training and I'm a few days out from a race, I try to have a lot more protein and fats in my diet.
So this is the tempeh bolognese that I meal prepped. It has red lentil pasta, so there's a bunch of protein in here. So the first thing I'm gonna do this morning is hop on my iRacing simulator that I'm about to show you guys.
Here's a close-up of the controls. This little marker right here helps you know if your wheel is straight or not. Here's the track that I'm practicing on. It is Bristol because that's where I'm going to be racing this Thursday. I've never been there before. It's definitely one of my bucket list tracks.
They're very helpful, especially for me. I haven't been to most of the tracks I've been racing at. So for me, just getting familiar with the track before I get actually on it is super helpful. And all these tracks are scanned. So if there's a bump in the track or anything like that in real life, it's scanned into the simulator. So you can really get a feel for the track. Usually I'll spend, I would say, around 4 hours a day, especially if I'm going to a new track. I like to log a lot of laps on the simulator. And then for go-karting, my biggest thing is just working on my racecraft. I feel like that's the biggest thing that you can take from go-karting and applying it.
This is gonna be my karting fit. I'm packing my bag right now. I have these gloves, I have this suit right here, these shoes.
I started my racing journey in karting, so it's really fun to go back to my roots, but also go-karting is still a really great way to keep my hand-eye coordination up. Yeah, it's a fun way to get a good workout in.
Being in a go-kart, like any seat time is good seat time, so I feel like it just gives you that like sensation of speed, and even just like turning the wheel and reacting, just even though it's like very different to a full-size race car, it still has like that same fundamental. So I feel like that definitely helped prepare me.
Today's been successful with karting. I have a micron on my steering wheel which tells me my lap times. It also has a bunch of data on it, and I'm pretty much where I need to be lap time wise. We have good speed, so yeah, I'm happy. It's been a successful karting day.
Go-karting is a really great neck workout. That's probably the first thing that gets tired for me in go-karting. The biggest thing is having good neck strength for like when you crash, because you want to be able to obviously like not get a concussion and to minimize any like neck soreness or injuries.
So it's a little past 10 o'clock and I'm very ready to go to sleep. I'm pretty tired. Yeah, I feel like my brain is just not processing anything else right now, so good night. I just got in my car. It is 7:30 a.m. Now that I got my breakfast, I'm gonna head over to the shop. It's about a 20-minute drive from me, and I'm gonna do a debrief from last weekend's race and then a seat fit for tomorrow's race.
So right now we are at my team's shop, Venturini Motorsports, and I am standing next to my short track car. Some little fun facts about this car is that there's no door, so I have to climb through the window. A lot of people are usually shocked about that. Another thing people are surprised by is how compact it is in there, and you really can't move your head or your body. All the seats are fitted to us with an insert. I try to come to the shop as much as possible, so at least a few times a week. Definitely I come here if I need to do a seat fit, and then team meetings, and also just to kind of hang out and bond with the team. My team consists of a crew chief and then other mechanics that will help the crew chief make changes that they want to make. I have a spotter who's really important for all like the on-track stuff, and then we also have pit crew for our pit stops. Midweek, I felt good about going into the race because I knew I was as prepared as I could possibly be physically, and I did everything I can. I didn't feel like I left anything on the table or like, you know, slacked off at any point.
Hopefully I'm not quite as sore in the morning because I'm definitely feeling it today, so fingers crossed for that. But overall it was a very productive day, so yeah, tomorrow should be good.
Good morning. It is September 15th, 5:30 a.m. and it is race day. I am super excited. A lot more excited than I sound. I'm just still tired.
When I got to Bristol, I walked down the banking of the track and I was like, it's so banked here. We did a track walk and I thought I was gonna my legs were buckling and it was just so hard to walk on the track. So I was definitely feeling some nerves because I don't even know what it's gonna feel like to drive on this track. Walking on it even feels strange at this point. So I was feeling anxious, but also just excited. I've always dreamed at racing at Bristol. It's been one of my bucket list tracks. So it was kind of a mix of emotions. A piece of constructive criticism for Bristol that was really good for me was just be aggressive and attack the track. You feel the car so much better when you drive really hard into it. So I think just attacking the track and just having that mentality was really great for me. Start the race. I didn't get the best start ever, but I was like, okay, it's fine. We have a long race going on, and then someone wrecked in front of me, and I was already kind of getting a little bit free at that point. So then I spun out trying to miss it, and I didn't hit anything, so that was good. I was like, okay, cool. And then I went to feel my brake pedal, and I had no brakes. So I pumped my brakes a little bit, got some brake back, and we restarted. And I started losing my brakes again in the run, so I went on the radio and told my team hey, I don't really have brakes right now. It's not really driving how I like it to. But during the pit stop, I came in and immediately my team started working on the car. I told them kind of how I was feeling with the brakes when I started feeling it. So they quickly diagnosed it, fixed the car. I turned my brake fan on in the car and went back out and started to get my brakes back. So then after that, we were good, no other mechanical issues, which was perfect.
So we just got done with the race. We got caught up in someone else's mess. Had some problems with the brakes, so we had a few setbacks that just kind of hurt our track position. We were back a few laps, but overall our speed was really good, our racing was good, just didn't have any luck with track position, just kind of started the race on a bad note, and it's really difficult to recover.
I think we ended up 15th, which wasn't bad considering the struggles that we had in the beginning of the race. When you're in a stressful situation, I think the biggest thing is to try to stay calm, which is hard, especially when there's so much going on around you and everyone is, up to speed, going fast. It's definitely stressful, and I think the biggest thing for me, especially at Bristol, is just deep breaths and making sure you're breathing this track.
It is 2 o'clock and I'm gonna eat this little smoothie bowl that I got from Green Brothers. I'm pretty excited for it. I definitely feel like I need something healthy because we just only were able to grab fast food last night for dinner, so I definitely wanted to start my day off with something healthy.
My debrief day for Bristol, I took like all the notes from what I was feeling at Bristol.
I have my communication between myself, my spotter, and my crew chief.
Keep wrapping that bottom, low exit straight out the corner.
This is really helpful for me to kind of just like process what happened over the weekend, and then also for next year I'll have all these notes to look back on.
Friday was my recovery day. Definitely was just about me catching up on sleep and resting to make sure I'm well recovered for Saturday's race. I definitely felt some soreness in my legs and a little bit in my neck, which I don't usually get like a sore neck, but I think it was just from all like the G-forces and the banking. So for me, just like stretching and also getting a lot of water in and electrolytes and just making sure I get like rest to really recover was important.
Still pretty drained from yesterday. I got a decent amount of sleep last night, but I always feel just like after really physical races like yesterday's, just kind of like need an entire day to chill and relax and recover.
I would say I put a lot of pressure on myself. I think I'm my biggest critic. Everyone here wants me to win. All my supporters and my crew and my family, everyone wants me to win, but I always say like I feel like I want it the most out of anybody. So it's definitely running through my mind at every race.
Good morning. It is September 17th and it is 7 a.m. I want to make sure I got at least 7 hours since I am racing today.
Saturday was race day at Hickory. When I woke up in the morning, I got ready, started my typical morning routine. Racing is awful for your skin. You're in this sweaty helmet. You have like all these fumes on your skin. It is not good. So I'm very intense about my skincare routine, morning and nighttime. The biggest thing for me is like as soon as I'm done with the race and I get back home, it's just like washing my face and going through the whole process. No matter how tired I am, I gotta do it. I got to the track at 10 a.m.
There's cars out on the track right now. I'm gonna get all signed in and get ready to go out myself.
The biggest difference between Bristol and Hickory is that Bristol is extremely banked and Hickory in comparison is a very flat track. So the feel is totally different going around the track. Bristol is a little bit more of an intimidating track, at least I think so. So I feel like it helped build me confidence because the pace was gonna be a lot faster at Bristol compared to Hickory. So I think going into Hickory, everything felt kind of like a little bit slower in a way.
I just did some laps in practice. I did 2 sessions, about 20 laps, and sessions went well. So we're gonna have a couple hour break and then practice again. I know that they did a few adjustments on the car, but overall I'm feeling super happy with it. It's pretty neutral. So yeah, I think we should be good. And once we put the new tires on, we'll pick up speed even more.
My biggest goals going into Hickory were to improve my qualifying time from last time and to also just improve my overall pace and get a solid finish. So basically the race starts and this race in comparison to Bristol was pretty uneventful. We pretty much went green all 75 laps of the race. There was a caution right at the end. We had a 4-lap run after that. Finally got a little bit more action in. It's definitely hard to keep yourself composed when you're racing side by side with somebody. I feel like you're just automatically way more tense. You're trying harder, just trying to get around them. So for me, I feel like that's kind of like when my heart rate spikes. I'm just trying so much harder. I kind of had 2 incidents where I felt like, oh gosh, we might wreck right here at the end. I was like on their outside, like right next to the wall, and like I was probably like an inch off the wall, like maybe less. I was pretty dang close. So I feel like the best thing is just to stay relaxed so your brain can just process everything and mentally you can think through, even though everything happens like split seconds, just thinking everything through before you make the move. I would say my race at Hickory was a success for me because I felt like in every aspect I improved from my first race with the team. I felt like my communication was better. I felt like my feedback was better. I felt like my overall just like comfort and like racecraft was better in the car.
What grade would you give yourself and why?
I would give myself after this weekend like a B+ because I feel like I managed everything well and I feel like overall like both races were a success. I feel like I was well prepared for them, but I feel like that like extra little minus on my grade was just from me maybe not taking as much time to like myself and like fitting in time to kind of like have like more relaxing time. And my #1 piece of advice for younger girls is to not be afraid to be the first you, and then also don't feel like you have to compare yourself to other people's path and journeys. Like you have your own and don't be afraid of that. Like just lead the way on that and be confident in yourself and your own journey.